Hi, my name is Mohammed CWTC Sakbi and welcome to our CWTC Get Connected Community Podcast to share experiences, promote services and networking, and great opportunities available for residents of Oldham. Today's topic is about finding out briefly what is the voluntary sector, how does Action Together supports community organisations in Rochdale, Oldham and Tameside. And to learn more about fantastic work done by our guest, Jane Glacier-White, who is the Community Development Officer for Action Together. Jane, welcome to the studio.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
And how was the day today?
It's not been too bad and I've ended up here.
Getting better.
By the second.
For our listeners and viewers, tell us about yourself, your career and what you've been up to.
Okay, well I'm Jane, also known as Jane GW because I've got a double-barrelled surname and it's too long. I've worked at Action Together now for about 13 years.
Wow.
Before that I was in Rochdale as a business advisor to women-led businesses, and then I moved over to Voluntary Action Oldham, and I've been working here in its many guises for, like I said, 13 years. So my job is to help support, develop and work with voluntary and community, faith and social enterprises, mainly in the central area of Oldham, which is Coldhurst, Alexandra and St Mary's wards, and I'm part of a team that work across the whole of the Oldham borough.
And a great team too, and we are very grateful for your support, especially with the particular recent success with Community Fund, and also helping us to connect with other services. Thank you very much for that. The voluntary sector, as we sometimes call it, the third sector, non-profit sector and community sector. What does it mean to our audience?
Yeah, it's got quite a few different names, hasn't it? VCSF, there's various names.
Yes.
It's basically community action. So it's those voluntary and community groups. It might be your mother and toddler group that's around the corner. It could be larger organisations such as Citizens Advice. It's a wide range of organisations which are set up to help support Joe Bloggs in the street.
Yeah. And talking about Citizens Advice, John Clark was here yesterday with us.
Yeah.
And lots of great things happening and support available for the residents of Oldham. Brilliant. Now, as you know, I have a very strong passion and commitment to the voluntary sector for 30 years. Don't ask me my age now. And, the support and the empowerment it provides to community organisations in various parts of Rochdale, now Oldham and Tameside through Action Together. Now, as an economy, it contributes to about £17 billion to the UK economy, and over 100,000 employees, which is an economic major player. Do you think this sector needs more understanding of its value, recognition, and more support from the government?
I do. I don't think we shout about the fantastic work that we do.
Yeah.
I think most voluntary and community groups are small, voluntary-led organisations who are too busy doing the do, which is why it was set up. People did not set up thinking that, we've got to write funding application forms, we've got to write press releases, we've got to do, policies and procedures. They set up because they found that there was a gap of support for their neighbours, for their friends, for strangers in the street. If it wasn't for the voluntary and community sector, we'd have been in such a worse place in the last few years with COVID and the cost of living crisis. It's the voluntary and community sector that are out there working on, for the people that need that support.
Yeah, and there are great amount of goodwill, passion, physical help, even financial help, food banks, so many things that as a voluntary sector we offer, and it shows the good working relationship between the diverse communities when it comes to the crunch, really. Okay, tell us about your work in the areas that you're involved with.
How long have we got? It varies on a day-to-day. It varies on an hour-to-hour basis.
Yes.
I literally, and this is one of the reasons that I think myself and my colleagues are in this job, is that no 2 days are the same.
Sure.
So it can be, like for today, for example, I've helped a group do some posters for a litter pick and a coffee morning that they're setting off.
Great.
So, this is a group of individuals who have got together because they want to tidy up their area. Didn't know what to do. Give me a call, and there's a litter pick starting, I think, next week. So simple things like that. We've helped, I've spoke to another organisation or an individual about setting up an organisation for women's artists.
Excellent.
Looking for various, places, venues with storage that they can do some messy work from. I've been looking at the legal structures of an organisation that wants to go to that next step. So there's a regular task is finding funding for organisations and helping them write the application form. So showcasing what they do on a piece of paper. It's a difficult art form, but with help and support, it's manageable. So that's what we do. So everything, I like to say I'll do anything apart from painting. I get more paint on me than I do on the wall. So that's not one of my skills.
Well, professionally, I know you as a professional person, and I think you're a one-stop shop.
Basically, we are.
Honestly.
And if you come to us with a question and we can't answer it or we can't help, the chances are we'll know somebody who can. So, our network of contacts, we'll find someone.
Well, that's why actually it brings me to the next question, how networking is so important, is having a knowledge of people that if you can't do a certain job, you know who can. And that's where the importance of this voluntary sector is. And so networking is important with any sector. Do you think we need to do more as a voluntary sector to network with each other?
I think it'd be lovely to do more. It's just the time, the capacity.
Yeah.
Most of our organisations are voluntary led. So you'll find people who work normal, maybe 9 till 5 job, and then they come home after work, they, have some tea, might get to watch a little bit of television, and then they're straight back out running a youth group, or on a Saturday doing football or a coffee morning, things like that. It's very difficult for them to be able to put aside a couple of hours to go to a networking event. But there is so many good results from actually going to those networking events. It's seeing what else is out in the area, how you can maybe share resources. If there's something that you need, it could be that that an alternative group has got that there that you can use. It is really important, and I don't think enough do it.
I think reality is also sometimes the community groups fight for same funding, okay? But if you actually work more strategically together, you can sustain more better and share those resources, and importantly, provide those different opportunities which each other's users can go to, and has a better impact on their well-being and learning skills. So networking, I think, it needs to increase more, and not be afraid of poaching, and just trust each other to work with each other.
I think trust is such a big thing, isn't it? It's not, nobody's after your money. Nobody's after your project. Nobody is going to steal your ideas. It's working together to make it better for the community. Lovely.
And in terms of the things that you mentioned about developing organizations, their infrastructure, funding is always an issue. However, by working collectively and strategically, you can actually not attract local funding, but also apply it to external funding as well. So what kind of current support is available in terms of funding, etc. at the moment?
There is a lot of funding out there. I think the people think that there's no funding, but there is. If you go onto our website, It's a good plug, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
actiontogether.org.uk, there's a button there that says find funding, and it's regularly updated. So, you know, like a main one that I know that you've been successful is reaching communities. Awards for All is it's going up to 20,000 over 2 years. That's lottery funding.
Good.
So, you know, you could go for that, and then Reaching Communities is also a lottery funding pot, which is anything over 20,000. You've got the smaller pots for the Oldham Council and Action Together do a One Oldham Fund with, there's different criteria. I think the one that's open at the moment, it might be the Children and Young People's Fund, but there's more coming out on a regular basis. Another local fund that's out at the moment is for if you're doing activities during Hate Crime Awareness Week. So these are the small funds, but we also have that ability to, you know, look at the larger funds.
Yeah, excellent. And there are a great number of sporting groups as well, and networking groups that we have within the areas you operate and in the borough as well. Can you name a few so that people can get involved?
Some of the groups that we work with, well, there's yourselves.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's some brilliant work done from here.
Thank
There's
you.
another good plug there, isn't there? But we've also, there's
Too
that many organisations, but I know that if you look at Oldham Greenhill Community Sports Centre, which is on Havelock Street, they're not just a sports group. They haven't just got a covered green area. They do an awful lot of activities for women, for men, for children. That is a one-stop shop as well. So you've got Oldham Greenhills, you've got Fatima Women's Association, you've got Ghazali Trust, you've got OL1 Oldham. You know, there's the All Nations Church. I could go on and on.
I think without people feeling favoritism here,
That's the problem.
I think if you go on your good website on the Action Together, there are numerous groups available, and also the Oldham Council website as well.
Well, if you go onto our website, on the page, I think on the homepage, you'll find Community Activities Directory, and you go on there, you just put in, you know, your postcode, the mileage that you want to look around, and it'll come up with so many activities that voluntary and community groups are putting on.
Yeah, so on your website, there'll be your contact email details there.
Yes.
Lovely. And what we'll do in our video as well, we'll put your contact there as well, if that's allowed.
That's allowed. You're probably better off with development at Action Together.
Okay.
But
okay. We'll check that with you.
Thank you.
Lovely. Would you like to add anything else to our listeners and viewers?
No, apart from thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, and thank you. I'm sure we'll be reporting to our listeners and viewers with so many great things you're developing and bringing the organising to our studio. What do you think of our setup here now and the way we're working with services?
A bit calmer now, yeah, a bit calmer. It's the services. This is the first time I've actually sat in a green room.
Right.
In this part of the building. I'm usually on the other side, and you know, like the work that you do is fantastic. I'm looking forward to the invitation to the Wellbeing Cafe. Yeah. So that
we're developing that, and we've got some partnership working agreements which we're working on with organisations to bring people through the door and make an impact on the people coming through, really.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So I hope you've found out some of the great information through Action Together and Jane's work as well. Please do get in contact with her. Great opportunities available for people in the borough, particularly in the area that Jane works with. And don't forget to come to CWTC as well. Lots of great things to engage in and learn different skills from. So take care, God bless, see you soon.